Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I am writing the topic here. Road. I am pinning it 1 second. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Like I said before, I think last week, my goal is to come on here every Monday and do a live. I normally do not do lives often on any of my social media platforms, and I know shame on me, but I want to get a more visible presence on social media, so here I am. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Teresa Clark. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I am a therapist who owns a group practice in South Florida called Inspire for Purpose, where we service those who are in need of mental health services. And so and I do amongst other things. But I want to put on my coaching hat because I'm also a coach. I coach other mental health professionals that want to launch or scale their private practice. Today actually is the last day of my coaching cohort, my second one of ever, but the second one this year. And and what that is I just stubbed my toe. What that is it's called Abundance Group Coaching, and basically I coach, like I said, mental health professionals. It's a 90-day cohort where for 90 days we do an intensive group coaching to help launch or scale their group practices or individual practices. And actually all of my students have either started their practice or scaled their practice, so I'm super excited. It's bittersweet. Today is the last day for my students, but also I'm glad that they have come a mighty long way. And so for those who are interested in any of those coaching services, you can definitely check out my website, the link in my bio, but that's not why I'm here. So over the weekend, I had a pretty relaxing weekend, but last week was a lot business wise. In my practice, I've had a lot of changes, a lot of staff changes in a matter of weeks. And so really trying to keep up with the change, really trying to make sure that the clients are being served, so forth and so on. And so these are the other things in entrepreneurship that people don't talk about. It's not glorified. People talk about the money, people talk about the glitz, the glam, but they don't really talk about the hard parts of being an entrepreneur, where you have to deal with staff issues or any other issues that happen as an entrepreneur, that it's just not highlighted. And so that's the season that I'm in my business, but luckily we are getting over the hump. So I'm super excited about that. But anyways, I want to talk about mental roadblocks, and why I wanted to talk about that is because for those who are feeling stuck, right? This is for those who feel stuck or lost. I talked about it a little bit on my last live. For those who feel stuck or lost. And a lot of times it's mental roadblocks. We are our worst enemy at times. We get stuck in our head, and we get stuck on the fact of other things that stop us from pushing forward. And so I just wanted to give you some tips how to overcome mental roadblocks. And I'll share a story about my own mental roadblock. So a few years ago, I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years now. Right, 5 years. And in year 1 and 2, I had a lot of imposter syndrome and a lot of mental roadblocks. And I didn't really know what it was at the time. So bad. So so bad that I had to get a business coach to really push me out of the imposter syndrome and the mental roadblocks. But when I realized it was so bad is I had been asked to speak at a women empowerment conference, and at the time that was really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be known as a speaker at women empowerment events. And so it was, I don't know, maybe within the first 3 or 4, I don't remember exactly, but it was either my 3rd or 4th one. And they had invited me, and last minute imposter syndrome kicked in so bad. I mean, I thought, oh my gosh, they're not going to like what I have to say. I'm going to sound like an idiot. Like, all these negative thoughts came in my mind. What if I stutter? What if I mess up? What if this? What if that? So bad to the fact that I got sick the night before. Like, a cold just out of the blue happened. And it wasn't severe. This was, years ago, so it wasn't COVID. But it was so debilitating where I had to cancel or pull out as a speaker. And at the moment, I didn't realize what a detriment that was to me and my confidence. But the anxiety that I felt about speaking, it subsided. I was like, whew, I don't have to speak anymore. And then I realized that speaking engagement, the other speakers there were connected to another bigger platform, and they connected to other people. So I had missed the opportunity to speak on an even bigger platform out of fear and out of imposter syndrome, which are all mental roadblocks. It really stopped me from, and after that, I did not speak probably for until the following year. So maybe a year later, I didn't speak at any conferences, any speaking engagements. I really just was okay with the mental roadblocks. I had let the imposter syndrome encompass and kind of consume my thoughts in regards to my professionalism, my speaking career that I wanted. Even as a therapist, getting my private practice off the ground, imposter syndrome just encompassed me, and I had felt like a failure, but I didn't know how to get myself out of that mental roadblock, out of that stuck place, out of feeling lost. I just posted a picture of I had a journal that I wrote in 2019. Let me see if I can share it on here. I've never done this before, so give me 1 second. I had a journal that I shared on my Insta stories. Here we go. And it was, I almost quit in 2018. So in 2017, I had the speaking engagement, and the following year was 2018. Imposter syndrome had hit really heavy for me. I was stuck. I was lost. And as you can see here, I just almost quit. I felt like a loser. I felt so discouraged. I felt like a failure. And in November 2018, God spoke to me and said, listen, if you don't do this, this will pass. Like, this moment for you to walk into your purpose, it will pass, and you will miss out on all the blessings that I have for you. And it was at that moment that I realized that imposter syndrome, feeling lost, all the mental roadblocks had stopped me for a year. A year I sat out. I didn't see clients in my practice. I didn't do speaking engagements. I didn't do anything in my entrepreneur journey that I was so excited in 2016 when I started. I mean, I was so super excited. I had created the business plan, the logo. I did all the work. And the first year was great. I was like, I'm doing it. And year 2, it just hit. It hit like a ton of bricks. The imposter syndrome and the feeling like I didn't deserve it, feeling like I didn't belong, feeling like I was in rooms and circles that I shouldn't be in. And I was stuck. I had hit a mental roadblock. Mentally, I just couldn't pull myself out of that rut to be able to see the greatness that was inside of me, to see all the things that God had placed in my heart and the vision that he gave me, the desires of my heart. It was there. Like, it was like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, but not knowing how to get there. So I just sat. And I just sat in that for a year. In November 2018, I hired a business coach. And I knew that I wanted to get out of that space. So I hired a business coach. And well, she was more business / life coach, really. And she kind of gave me the words that I needed to hear. Hello. She gave me the words that I needed to hear. It was like a smack in the face. that I needed to get up. Like, you can't sit here and wither. You can't sit here in your discouragement and your feelings of inadequacy and feeling like a failure, because the things that I wanted to accomplish were so great that I know that I needed to push past the fear, push past the discouragement, push past all of the mental roadblocks that were stopping me from walking into my purpose. And at that moment, I wanted to launch a book. At that moment, I wanted to regrow my private practice. I wanted to be known as a speaker. All of these things that I wanted to do, it was like a light switch went off after I had finally realized that I'm not going to sit on these things anymore. I'm not going to sit on the dreams and goals and the visions that God has given me to live out. I decided to get up off my behind, figuratively and literally, and do something about it. And so in November 2018, as you can see here in this journal entry that I wrote, which was 2019, so it was the following year that I wrote this, but I realized that I did not want to sit in that anymore. I wanted to get up and do something about it. And so I did. November 2018 to December 2018, I planned. I was like, 2019 is my year. 2019, I'm going to kick it out of the park. 2019, I am going to put it into overdrive. And that is what I did. I put it into overdrive, right? But I had to do the mental work, right? I had to get past the mental roadblocks. And the first thing that I did was I took care of myself. I decided that my self-care was important. I decided to put everything I needed to into working on myself inside, right? Because the outside was okay, right? I was still going to get my hair and my nails done and all the nice things, going to get a massage and all those nice things for self-care. Hello. How are you guys doing this morning for those who are joining the live? Let me know how you're doing. And I'm talking about overcoming my own mental roadblocks, how I did it, and sharing some tips with you guys as to how you can overcome mental roadblocks. So just sharing a little bit about my story and my journey and my entrepreneurship journey. So yeah, I started practicing self-care. I started taking care of my internal self, right? I started journaling, and through my journaling, I created my first book, right? In my own journaling journey, so to speak. So I started journaling. I started meditating. I started increasing my spiritual life. I started hanging around different sets of people who were like-minded, right? I started to distance myself from the negative Nancy's, from the people who didn't have the same vision and goals as me and just tried to discourage me from doing those things. I started walking in a different direction. And so I started doing the internal work. And what I realized was, added on with the life coach, it was encompassing everything that I needed to propel myself into 2019. And it was that 2 months I did a lot of mental work. So I took care of myself. I decided that I wasn't going to take any more breaks, right? I had took a year off break of just doing nothing. And I decided that when I felt the imposter syndrome creeping up, when I felt the feeling of discouragement, right, I fell back on my self-care tips, right? I also did positive affirmations, telling myself, the things that I didn't think about myself. You are important. You are intelligent. There is nothing that you can't do. I started telling myself these positive affirmations until I started believing them. And so doing some of those things started knocking those roadblocks out, right? Impostor syndrome started to dissipate. Feeling like a failure started to dissipate. The discouragement that I had for a year, it started to go away. And I realized that doing the internal work was helping me propel me into my purpose. And so what happened is, in 2019, I hit the ground running. In 2019, I launched my journal, right? So I did these journal entries. As you can see one here, I did these journal entries for a year, and I put them all together into my first book, which is called Finding the Missing Part of Me. It's a 31-day journal to self-discovery. And through my own journal entries of how I pulled myself out of those mental roadblocks came a book. And I published that book in January 2019, sold out. I restarted my private practice. I went full-time in my entrepreneurship journey in November 2019. Like, I did a lot. I hit the ground running. all of those things that I wanted to do that I just sat on and did not do, after pulling myself out of that mental roadblock rut, I then was able to hit the ground and do all of those amazing things that I wanted to do. All of the things that God put on my heart to do, I was finally able to do it, right? I was able to step out on faith and go into my business full time, right? And so starting in 2019 of November with just me, now I have 20 staff in a group practice, right? And I run a multiple six-figure practice, right? But that, where I am now is where I was not in November of 2017, right? Or talking to the girl in 2018, right? She felt discouraged. She felt lost. She felt like a failure. And to doing the mental work to pull myself out of that rut to where I am now, I am so grateful to God, because without him, I would have been stuck. And all of the things and all of the purpose that I had to be able to employ other staff, to be able to live the dream that I have right now, to be able to be a professor and teach college courses, and all the dreams that I wanted to do. And so I want to encourage you and anybody watching now or even the replay, right? Taking some of these tips, and I hope my story encourages or motivates anyone watching to pull themselves out of that rut, to allow the mental roadblocks to go away. Because what happens is imposter syndrome is real, right? We feel like we don't belong. You may feel like I don't deserve this, or I don't feel like I should get these things or these accolades or this purpose that I have, or whatever your dreams or goals and aspirations are. You feel as though you're not good enough. And imposter syndrome is a lie, right? It's imposed in your mind to make you feel like you don't deserve more. But I'm here to encourage you and tell you that you do deserve more. And I'm here to encourage you and tell you, you are great. You are amazing. There is nothing that you can't do. Our biggest enemy a lot of times is ourself, amongst other things, right? But we will stop ourselves from all the things that we want to do. We will talk ourselves off the ledge before we even take the leap. We will tell ourselves all of these things, all of these excuses. Trust me, I've been there. I told myself every excuse in the book as to why I decided not to speak anymore at women empowerment events. I told myself all the lies as to why I stopped seeing clients in my private practice. I had told myself every single thing I could do, I could think of to stop myself from moving forward. Right? Big facts. Yeah. Right. So we will talk ourselves off the ledge before we even take the leap. And so in saying that is that when you feel these, when you hear or feel these things, right, you're not good enough. Nobody will come to your event. Nobody's going to buy your book. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Nobody's going to patronize your business. When these things come into your mind, you have to push those things outside of your mind. You have to really do the work to build up your confidence, and to build up your self-esteem, and to build up the things that you need so that you can become a strong individual internally, right? So for those who, I hope that you were able to get something from what I said, because the reality is that it's mental roadblocks are real. So if you feel stuck, if you feel lost, this message is for you. Or if you're having issues with imposter syndrome, which happens to the best of us, I'm at a place now where imposter syndrome really doesn't affect me, because I have done the work. I have done the mental work to not allow it to affect me. And when I do feel fear, I have to check that and figure out where that's coming from, because a lot of times fear is paralyzing, and it'll stop you from moving forward. Literally, it can paralyze you, and figuratively, right, to where you are stuck. And so you have to examine where that fear is coming from, because fear is natural. Fear is not a negative thing all the time, but it becomes negative when you allow it to stop you in your tracks from moving forward into whatever you're supposed to be doing. So this message is not just for entrepreneurs, right? For entrepreneurs, yes, but even those who are working a 9-to-5, right? You're afraid of promotion, and you're afraid of leaving that job that you hate, or you're afraid of starting something new. There's a lot of fear and imposter syndrome that comes up, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work at a 9-to-5. It doesn't matter. It's the same concept, whether you're working for yourself or not. The reality is that it will stop you from moving forward in your professional career or even in your entrepreneurship journey. So whichever route you take, it doesn't matter. The concept is still the same. It's the mental roadblocks that will stop you moving forward, and even in your personal life, right? And if you're afraid of starting a family, if you're afraid of moving, if you're whatever you're afraid of, imposter syndrome and mental roadblocks will stop you in your personal life as well. So just making sure that I reiterate that it's not just for entrepreneurs, it's for all those people that are trying to move forward in their life, personally, professionally, spiritually, emotionally, whatever aspect you're trying to move forward. The reality is that the mental roadblocks can stop you, and they will hinder you from the doors that you can open. It will stop you from all of the dreams that you have. It will stop you from moving forward in your life, and it will keep you stuck. And when you're stuck, you're unhappy, and when you're unhappy, you eventually become miserable. And the saying that misery loves company is absolutely true. You will then follow other people who are also miserable, and what you do is you complain. I used to be a big complainer. I would complain, and then eventually one of my friends said, "Why do you keep complaining? There's nothing you're doing differently. If you're unhappy at your job, if you're unhappy that you haven't got this business off the ground, then what are you doing to make it happen?" No one wants to hear a complainer complain. I mean, I would complain for months at a time, until eventually I'm like, she's right. I'm tired of hearing myself complain. It's like, what are you going to do about it, girl? I would literally have these conversations with myself, like in the mirror. What are you doing? You're complaining, but what work are you doing to get you out of this situation? You need to put feet to your faith and move. And so that's what I did. I decided to stop complaining, stop moping around, stop feeling like a failure. Woe is me. All the pity party that I was having for myself. And I decided to get up and do something about it. And November 2018 was the smack in the face I needed. As you can see on this paper, that was the smack in the face that I needed to really move forward. And so I hope this message encouraged someone today to be able to move out of the mental roadblocks. And so what I did to go over it, I started doing self-care. I stopped taking these breaks where I decided, which was really just excuses. Oh, well, I need a break from this and I need a break from that. And the reality was I wasn't doing anything that I needed a break from. So I started doing the internal work. I started doing self-care. I started journaling. And through my journaling, my book was created. I stopped taking breaks, and I changed my environment, right? Whether you change the people that you hang around, whether it's literally changing your environment helps tremendously. People don't think it does. People don't think it does, but it does. Whether you change where you live, change the circle you're in, whatever environment means to you, right? Maybe you go different places, open up your palette to other cultural things, learning more, going to conferences. I really started going to conferences. I started investing in myself, spending money on books, conferences, trainings, to really do the mental work that I needed to do to change my mindset, to shift the way I was thinking about my purpose and myself, right? And I had to invest in myself, and that may mean time, and that also may mean money. And the reality is that we invest into other people all the time, and we don't really invest in ourselves. So I want to encourage you to invest in yourself. Buy books. If you don't read, I'm an audiobook learner, right? I'm more auditory, so I buy audiobooks. I do trainings. I do conferences. Now that the pandemic, I do things virtually, but I would definitely love to start going to conferences in person next year. Looking forward to doing more conferences in 2022. Absolutely. I love conferences, especially where I can learn and grow. I say absolutely go for it. The reality is that there's only so much we can teach ourselves. Excuse me. We have to be able to learn from other people who have been where we have been, and also have the knowledge to impart in us, right? I've come a long way in my entrepreneurship journey, but there are leaps and bounds that I still need to take. So I'm never too good to learn from anybody. I can still profit off of learning mentally, right? The things that I need to know. So conferences are always really, really good to do. And books, right? You know, now in the age of the internet and social media, people don't like read it anymore, but there's so much knowledge we can learn in books that we can learn and grow. And there's so many different books that I've learned that have helped me become a better leader, a better wife, a better mother, a better person in general. And so if you're stuck, absolutely start with a book. Social media is free. Watch YouTube videos. If you're like, I'm in a place where I don't have money financially to pay hundreds of dollars for a conference, watch YouTube videos. There are so many motivational, inspirational things on YouTube that is free. So start there. Social media, follow people who you who inspire and motivate you. If you're following people that you envy and hate, stop following them. If you're following people that make you feel bad about your own life, unfollow. Absolutely. If you're following people that you see money and fashion and glam all the time and that makes you feel insecure, well, one, that's a personal problem, but two, unfollow them until you get at a place where you can build up your self-esteem and build up your own confidence. Follow people that can impart knowledge into you, right? Every Monday morning, I watch a few social media people that I follow because they do Motivational Monday. They do mindset work. And so I listen to them every Monday morning. That sets the tone for my week. So find people that you can find inspirational, motivational. They're doing what you would love to do. Like if you want to be an entrepreneur, find other entrepreneurs to follow on social media. If you want to be a teacher, follow a teacher on social media. Whatever the case may be, but find someone on social media that you can follow that imparts knowledge and wisdom into you. And that is free 99. And even so, if they offer courses or trainings that they personally do, you can buy their stuff if you find that the information that they're giving to you for free is knowledgeable and they're credible. Because there's so many people on social media that are frauds. And I mean, like, they tell you the sun, the moon, and the stars, but they haven't really got a business off the ground. So really do your work when you're following people on social media and whether you're spending money with them, because there are a lot of people that are fraudulent and stealing people money on social media. That's just a caveat. But anyways, follow people on social media that you find interesting and that can impart information into you. That is free. There are so many things, so many ways to learn in this nowadays where you can get it for free. Now, also, free 99 will only take you so far, right? For those who are like, I'm just going to get all the free trainings, you eventually have to invest. You will eventually have to pay for something, whether it's a training, whether it's a book, a webinar, a video, a conference. You're going to have to pay something. But if you're starting from ground zero, start from those places, right? Those are things that I did when I first started my entrepreneurship journey of gaining information and just doing the mental work to put me at a level of where I needed to be. And so hopefully something I said today imparted into you that you find interesting, that you take and you share. Knowledge is power. I know we heard that a lot when we were children. And I know when I was a child, I felt like that sounds ridiculous, but it literally is. The more you know, the more power you have. And whatever that power looks like, in whatever your field is, it will unlock doors. It will unlock opportunities for you to learn and grow mentally. And so today was about mental roadblocks. If there is something else that you guys would like for me to share next week Monday, please send me a DM and let me know. I definitely want to talk about different topics on here every Monday to offer some Monday motivation to everybody who's watching live and watching the replay. If you find something interesting, share with other people so that they can also get the knowledge and the information. I want you guys to have a great week. Set the tone today, right? Set your Monday the right way so that the rest of your week will be good. Put the information into your mind so that you will have a great rest of your week. Even if you hate your job, right? Your mindset will change your attitude. So the way you think will change the way you feel, which will change the way you behave, right? That's a therapeutic thing. But just to remember, changing the way you think, doing the mindset work will help you have a better rest of your week. So set today as the tone for the rest of your week. I wish everyone a great week this week. Do something to impart into your internal self-care. Take care of yourself this week, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Do something for yourself. And I wish you guys a great rest of your week. Until later, have a good one.